Chicago is at a massive crossroads right now, and the decisions made this week will shift the entire future of the Bears franchise. We are tracking a potential front office heist in Atlanta that could leave our draft board empty, while a defensive coaching legend might be slipping through our fingers. If you think the NFL is about to screw the Bears out of their rightful draft picks, you need to hear this update immediately. Before we dive into the chaos, make sure to like this video, share it with every Bears fan you know, and hit that subscribe button for your daily fix of Chicago football news. Let's get right into the fire with the Cunningham situation, because this is getting tense. We've known for weeks that the Atlanta Falcons have been circling our assistant GM like hawks, but things just hit a secondary gear. We are officially down to the wire. It is now a two-horse race for the Falcons' general manager position, and Cunningham is one of the final two men standing. His only competition: James Leitford, the assistant GM for the Houston Texans. Atlanta is reportedly conducting in-person interviews as we speak, and word is they want a deal locked in by the end of this week. Now, let's be real, we've seen this movie coming. The connections are everywhere. Matt Ryan was recently named the Falcons' president of football operations, and we know Matt Ryan and our own Ryan Poles are incredibly tight. They were teammates and roommates back at Boston College. Matt Ryan has been a frequent visitor to Hallis Hall, and he's seen firsthand the magic Cunningham has worked alongside Poles. It's no surprise he wants his own version of that in Atlanta. But here is where it gets frustrating. If Cunningham leaves, the Bears should be rewarded with 2 third-round compensatory picks for developing a minority executive. That is the rule. However, a massive report from Jonathan Jones at CBS Sports has thrown a wrench in the plans, suggesting the NFL might view the Falcons' GM job as a secondary position because Matt Ryan is the president. How can being a general manager with roster control be anything other than a promotion? If the NFL uses a technicality to rob the Bears of those 2 third-round picks, it's not just a joke, it's an absolute disgrace. These picks are the lifeblood of a rebuild. Do you think the NFL is looking for an excuse to deny the Bears these compensatory picks, or will they actually follow the spirit of the rule? While we wait for the league to find its backbone, we have to look at the coaching staff, specifically Al Harris. If you've watched this defense, you know Harris is the takeaway king. For 5 years, his units have been at the top of the league in interceptions. He has earned the defensive coordinator job 10 times over. The rumor mill was spinning fast with a potential move to the Pittsburgh Steelers to join Mike McCarthy, his old mentor from the Green Bay days. But I have some massive news from a source. It is now looking highly unlikely that Al Harris lands in Pittsburgh. The Steelers are moving in a different direction, which means the biggest threat to stealing Harris might have just evaporated. That doesn't mean he's safe in Chicago yet. There are still openings across the league. But if it's not a play-calling role, why would he leave? If the Bears are smart, they will back up the Brinks truck and match any salary offer he gets to keep him in the building. We cannot afford to lose the guy who turned our secondary into a no-fly zone. Question of the day: if another team offers Al Harris a defensive coordinator title but doesn't let him call the plays, should he stay in Chicago? And would you be willing to pay him like a coordinator just to keep him as a position coach? Comment below with your thoughts right now. Speaking of coaching moves, the coaching carousel just spit out a very familiar name. The New York Jets just fired Tanner Engstrand after a disastrous season. Now, before you roll your eyes because it's the Jets, remember who this guy is. Before he went to the quarterback graveyard in New York, he was the pass game coordinator for the Detroit Lions under Ben Johnson. He was a key architect of that explosive 2023 and 2024 Detroit offense. The Jets were a mess, starting guys like Brady Cook and dealing with a limited Justin Fields, but Engstrand's history with Ben Johnson is deep. If our current offensive coordinator, Declan Doyle, ends up taking a job elsewhere, and we know the Baltimore Ravens are currently pushing hard to interview him, Ben Johnson might look to bring his old buddy Tanner back into the fold. Whether it's as a quarterback's coach or a senior analyst, having a guy who already speaks Ben Johnson's language could be a sneaky, brilliant move for this staff's continuity. We're at a point in the offseason where every single day brings a new rumor that could change the roster or the sideline. Whether it's Ian Cunningham's future in the front office or the potential return of a Ben Johnson disciple, the stakes couldn't be higher. We've been doing some live Q&A sessions lately to break these stories down in real time. If you caught the last one, let us know if we should keep those going. The Chicago Bears are finally a destination people want to be at, and that means other teams are going to try and poach our talent. It's a champagne problem, but it's still a problem. Think about the message it sends to the rest of the league if we lose Cunningham and don't get those picks. It tells every team that if they just play with the titles in their front office, they can circumvent the rules that are supposed to help build equity and reward teams for developing talent. It's a dangerous precedent that the league office needs to address before Friday. Furthermore, the Al Harris situation proves that the Bears have finally built a culture that coaches actually want to stay in. In years past, guys would have been jumping ship for any coordinator title they could find. Now, with the Steelers looking elsewhere and Harris potentially staying put, we are seeing the benefit of stability. Imagine this secondary with another year of Harris's tutelage. We could be looking at a record-breaking year for turnovers. And if Ben Johnson manages to snag Tanner Engstrand to replace a departing staff member, the offensive brain trust in Chicago will be virtually unmatched. We have to stay aggressive because the Baltimore Ravens are not backing down in their pursuit of Declan Doyle. After he pulled his name out of the Philadelphia Eagles search, it felt like we had dodged a bullet, but now the Ravens want him to lead Lamar Jackson's offense. This is the ultimate test for the Bears hierarchy. Do we promote J.T. Barrett to the coordinator role if Doyle leaves, or do we bring in a veteran like Engstrand to bridge the gap? Every single one of these moves is a domino that could fall by the end of the week, and the impact on Caleb Williams' development is the only thing that matters. If we lose the picks for Cunningham and lose our offensive coordinator in the same week, the off-season narrative changes instantly from reloading to replacing. We cannot let the league's bureaucracy stifle our progress while AFC powerhouses try to pluck our best minds. The front office needs to stand firm, and the NFL needs to do the right thing and grant those compensatory picks if Atlanta makes the hire. The integrity of the league's hiring rules is on the line, and the Bears are the ones caught in the crossfire. We are building a powerhouse here in the Windy City, and we aren't going to let a few coaching departures or front office shifts slow us down. We are building something special here, and while the league might try to hold us back with technicalities on draft picks, the momentum on the field and in the coaching rooms is undeniable. We are watching the transformation of a franchise in real time. The eyes of the entire NFL are on Hallis Hall right now to see if we can keep this unit together. Don't go anywhere, because as soon as that Falcons news breaks or a new coach signs on the dotted line, we'll have it for you right here. We'll be back in the studio tomorrow with even more updates as the Falcons make their final decision and the coaching staff takes shape. Bear down.